Next time you're making your morning coffee or preparing a quick dinner, take a second to look at the back label of your coconut milk. Look past the pictures of fresh tropical gardens and search for 3 words: carrageenan, guar gum, or sodium metabisulfite. If you spot them, you aren't just getting simple coconut cream. You're pouring industrial texturizers into your system, additives that could be a hidden trigger behind that stubborn morning joint stiffness or sudden evening bloating. As our bodies cross the age of 60, our digestive systems handle these lab-altered ingredients completely differently than they used to. Today, we are walking line by line through 9 popular coconut milk brands using these shortcuts, and the 2 clean options actually worth your money. Now, if you want to protect your everyday wellness and your grocery budget with straightforward, honest food breakdowns every single week, take a brief second to subscribe. Let's look at the first brand where most people completely miss the fine print. Let's start with a brand that many health-conscious shoppers absolutely love: Trader Joe's. I know exactly what some of you are thinking, and I can already hear the pushback down in the comments. You love shopping at Trader Joe's because they pride themselves on a healthy, natural image, and you've probably been buying their canned or carton coconut milk for years to make your morning smoothies or daily soups. You might even be getting ready to type out a defense of this brand because it tastes perfectly fine to you. But your digestive lining doesn't care about a grocery store's wholesome marketing campaign. When you audit the back label of Trader Joe's coconut milk, you will often find an ingredient called carrageenan. Carrageenan is a texturizer extracted from red seaweed, and multi-million-dollar corporations use it for one simple reason. It is an incredibly cheap way to force water and fat to stay bound together so the product looks thick on the shelf. The biological issue for adults over 60 is that carrageenan has been widely investigated in clinical research for its tendency to trigger gastrointestinal inflammation. As our gut microbiome naturally changes with age, the protective mucosal lining of our stomach becomes thinner and more sensitive. When you continuously ingest an aggressive industrial emulsifier like carrageenan, it can irritate that delicate lining, contributing directly to chronic, low-grade systemic inflammation. If you are actively trying to follow an anti-inflammatory diet for seniors to manage osteoarthritis or general joint discomfort, this single hidden additive could be working directly against your daily efforts. This brings us directly to our second major brand, which is a staple in the international aisle of almost every supermarket in America: Goya canned coconut milk. Goya is incredibly popular, highly affordable, and an absolute institution for traditional, generational recipes. But if you look past the bold blue logo and read the fine print on the back, you will find a chemical preservative called sodium metabisulfite. Manufacturers add sodium metabisulfite to prevent the natural browning that happens when real coconut meat is exposed to air. It acts as an industrial bleaching agent to keep the milk looking perfectly, artificially white for years inside the can. The hidden catch for older adults is that sulfites are notorious triggers for sudden respiratory sensitivities, unexpected headaches, and direct digestive blockages. As our bodies mature, our liver enzymes, specifically sulfite oxidase, which breaks down these compounds, can become less efficient. Ingesting high-heat, chemically preserved foods can overload your system, leaving you with unexplained digestive heaviness or mild allergic reactions that you might mistakenly blame on something else entirely. When you spend your money at the supermarket, you should be buying real honest food that supports your systemic wellness, not a chemical preservative designed to extend a corporation's warehouse shelf life. If you still believe Goya is the best option for your kitchen, tell me down in the comments why you think these chemical preservatives are worth the risk. Now, this is where things start to change, because we need to jump from the baking aisle over to the refrigerated dairy case to talk about our third brand, which includes options like silk coconut milk. I want to be completely fair. These carton milks are intentionally designed to be thin, low-calorie alternatives to skim milk for your cereal or morning coffee. They aren't meant to be thick cooking creams. But here is where the corporate structure gets confusing for the consumer. Because a mix of mostly water and a tiny bit of coconut fat naturally looks gray and watery, manufacturers rely heavily on ingredients like gellan gum to artificially construct a rich mouthfeel. This doesn't mean the product is dangerous or that it will make you sick overnight, but you need to realize that you are essentially paying premium milk prices for filtered tap water that's been structurally gelled in a production plant to trick your tongue. For a senior managing a household budget, paying a premium for water and factory stabilizers just doesn't make long-term financial sense. Before we move on to the next set of brands and look at the actual processing tricks corporations use, let's do a real-time community check together. I want you to literally pause this video right now, walk over to your kitchen, open up your cabinet or refrigerator, and pull out whatever brand of coconut milk you currently have on hand. Turn the container around, read the ingredients list line by line, and leave a comment below with the brand name and whether you see any gums, sulfates, or carrageenan listed in the fine print. Don't feel bad or defensive if you find exactly what we're talking about today. The food industry spends millions of dollars on beautiful imagery of fresh coconuts and tropical flags specifically to keep us from checking the back. Leave your comment right now so we can see what brands are currently sitting in our community's pantries. Now let's look at our fourth brand, which dominates the Asian food section of nearly every grocery store chain: Thai Kitchen. This brand presents itself as a highly authentic, premium choice for home cooks. It often costs a little bit more than the store brands, which can easily trick you into thinking it must be cleaner and higher quality. But when you read the label, you will find a highly prominent additive: guar gum. Guar gum is extracted from guar beans, and it acts as a thickener to keep the coconut fat from separating from the liquid while sitting on hot warehouse pallets. But the issues with Thai Kitchen run deeper than just the gums. For years, the commercial canning industry has relied heavily on industrial can linings made with bisphenol A, commonly known as BPA. While some brands have slowly shifted away from this compound due to public pressure, many global mass producers still utilize chemical linings to prevent the acidic components of food from corroding the metal can. For seniors, consuming foods packed in older chemical linings can introduce endocrine-disrupting compounds into the body, which can interfere with metabolic health and blood sugar stability. When you are looking for hidden food additives, you have to look at the container just as closely as the ingredients list. Our fifth brand is another highly popular option in the refrigerated section: So Delicious Organic Coconut Milk. Because the word organic is printed in massive letters across the front of the packaging, most shoppers drop their guard completely. They assume that organic automatically means safe, clean, and healthy. But if you flip the carton over, you will see a highly complex stabilizer system known as a multi-gum blend, specifically combining guar gum with locust bean gum. Food manufacturers combine multiple industrial gums because they create a synergetic structural matrix that is incredibly stable under temperature changes. However, this sticky, gel-like substance behaves very poorly inside an aging gastrointestinal tract. Gums are highly resistant to natural human digestion. When they reach your large intestine, they undergo rapid fermentation by your gut bacteria. For many older adults, a healthy meal that results in sudden, painful abdominal bloating, unexpected gas, or unpredictable changes in bowel habits isn't actually a reaction to the food itself. It is a direct reaction to these synthetic multi-gum blends that slow down your natural gut transit time and cause digestive distress. You deserve a simple, real food ingredient that passes through your system smoothly and naturally, without requiring industrial binders to hold it together. This brings us to our sixth brand, which is the ultimate choice for budget-conscious shoppers: Walmart's Great Value Canned Coconut Milk. When grocery store inflation is squeezing your budget every single month, reaching for the absolute lowest priced generic brand on the shelf makes complete sense. I want to be entirely clear with you. Managing your expenses realistically is incredibly important, and buying a budget item does not make you a bad shopper. But you need to understand the hidden trade-off that Walmart never puts on the front of that $2 can. To manufacture a product at such a rock-bottom price point, they utilize the lowest grade, highly processed coconut remnants available. Because this low-tier base naturally results in a highly separated, thin and chalky fluid, the primary tool the manufacturer uses to salvage the product is a heavy dose of synthetic stabilizers and chemical thickeners. They use these additives to force a low-quality, watered-down liquid to look uniform and creamy. Saving $1 or $2 at the cash register is entirely understandable, but loading your body with industrial texturizers just to save a few pennies can ultimately cost you much more in daily comfort and systemic well-being. If you are a loyal Walmart shopper and feel that budget is more important than the ingredient list, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Let's move to our 7th brand, which is a major player in the baking and cocktail mixer section, Coco Lopez. This brand is famous worldwide for making incredibly sweet, smooth, and rich coconut creams. It is an absolute favorite for family gatherings, holiday desserts, and traditional tropical drinks. But when you look past the nostalgic packaging and read the back label, you will find a chemical compound called polysorbate 60. Polysorbate 60 is a fully synthetic industrial emulsifier that has absolutely zero nutritional value whatsoever. It is used by mass production corporations to maintain a completely flawless artificial smoothness over years of storage. Clinical studies in gastroenterology have shown that synthetic emulsifiers like polysorbate 60 can actively disrupt the delicate balance of your gut microbiome, promoting the growth of pro-inflammatory bacteria while degrading the protective mucus barrier of the intestinal wall. When you are over the age of 60, protecting your intestinal barrier integrity is one of your primary defenses against chronic inflammation remedies and systemic health issues. Relying on lab-created chemical extractions just to get a smooth texture is a shortcut that your body simply doesn't need. Our 8th brand is Grace's Classic Coconut Milk, another highly recognizable product across the country. Grace's is known for its deep roots in Caribbean cooking, and it has a massive, fiercely loyal following of cooks who swear by its flavor profile. But when you perform a thorough line-by-line audit of this product, you see clear signs of severe processing oxidation. When a mass manufacturer relies on heavy, high-heat thermal processing to stabilize their milk for global shipping, they subject the delicate natural fats of the coconut to extreme physical stress. Real, fresh coconut is packed with medium-chain triglycerides, or MCT oils, which are highly beneficial healthy fats that seniors rely on for natural cognitive energy and metabolic support. However, when these fats are heavily processed and mixed with industrial stabilizers to prevent separation, they can become oxidized before the can is even opened. Digesting highly processed, thermally altered fats can create subtle oxidative stress inside your blood vessels, working directly against your vascular elasticity and daily cardiovascular health. Authentic traditional cooking should carry natural nutrients into your body, not factory-altered industrial fats. Our 9th and final brand to watch out for is Coco Coconut Milk. This is an international brand that you will find in thousands of small grocery stores and major supermarket chains alike. It is highly praised by professional chefs for its incredibly consistent thickness and shelf stability. But that consistency is achieved through heavy preservative overloading. Coco relies on an extensive network of chemical stabilizers and thickeners to ensure that their cans can sit in cargo containers, hot trucks, and grocery store backrooms for years at a time without ever separating or spoiling. The corporate distribution timeline is prioritized completely over your personal systemic wellness. Your body was never designed to continuously process these complex networks of chemical stabilizers. If you are working hard to maintain your daily mobility, independence, and digestive comfort after 60, eliminating these heavily manipulated industrial products from your kitchen is an essential step forward. Now that we have uncovered exactly how major food corporations use these cheap shortcuts, let's focus on the good news. There are exceptional, highly authentic choices available on the exact same supermarket shelves that treat your health, your joints, and your body with the genuine respect you deserve. This is where the entire grocery system starts to work in your favor. Let's look at the 2 safe, clean label choices that are absolutely worth your money. The first safe choice is Native Forest Simple Organic Coconut Milk. I want you to pay very close attention to that word simple on the label, because this company makes a few different versions. The simple variety is an exceptional masterclass in honest food production. If you turn this can around and read the ingredients list, you will find exactly 2 things: organic coconut milk and filtered water. That is it. There is absolutely no guar gum, no carrageenan, no chemical preservatives, and no hidden sulfites. Furthermore, the company explicitly prints on the label that the can linings are completely BPA-free. It provides you with the pure, unadulterated, anti-inflammatory healthy fats of the coconut exactly as nature intended, making it incredibly gentle on sensitive digestive tracts. The second safe choice is Natural Value Organic Coconut Milk. This brand shows you exactly how an honest, traditional product should behave. When you read the ingredient list, it is just organic coconut meat and water. Because they refuse to pump their product full of factory chemicals and industrial gums to force it to mix, this milk will naturally separate inside the can. When you open it, you will find a thick, rich layer of pure coconut cream sitting right on top of a clear, liquid base. This is a definitive technical sign of a clean, unemulsified product. All you have to do is empty the can into a small bowl and give it a quick stir with a spoon, or warm it up gently in a pan, and it instantly becomes a beautiful, perfectly smooth, rich sauce. Now, I know what a lot of value-conscious shoppers are thinking right now. You look at clean brands like Native Forest Simple or Natural Value, and you see a price tag that can be double what the generic store brands charge. You're wondering, is this actually realistic for someone on a fixed retirement income? Let's be completely honest. This strategy won't wipe out your grocery bill entirely, and you will still occasionally consume these stabilizers when you eat out or buy pre-made foods. That's just modern life. But here is a realistic way to make this work in a typical household. Because honest, unstabilized coconut milk doesn't contain cheap water fillers, the cream inside that can is exceptionally dense and rich in natural fats. It will naturally separate into a solid block of cream on top and water on the bottom. Instead of dumping the whole thick can into one meal, use half of it. Take the other half, place it in a small container, and whisk it with 1/3 of a cup of warm water. Now, let's be real, this will make the texture slightly lighter than a commercial can pumped full of chemical thickeners. It won't be that heavy, artificially uniform gel, but you still inherit all the natural oils and authentic flavor while instantly stretching your dollar and cutting your per meal cost cleanly in half. It is a doable, grounded pivot that protects your physical comfort. Making simple, informed pivots at the grocery store doesn't mean you have to give up the comforting, classic meals you love to cook. It simply means learning how to read past the front packaging so you can make empowered, confident choices for your body and your budget. Choosing a pure, clean coconut milk is a massive victory for your gut health and your joints. However, the real grocery store minefield isn't actually in the international aisle. It is waiting for you just a few steps over in the dairy case, disguised as heart-healthy margaritas and synthetic butter spreads that are quietly loaded with industrial trans fats and hidden artificial colors. If you want to see exactly which butter and oil brands you should avoid on your next trip and which ones are truly safe and wholesome for your cardiovascular system, click right here on this next video. We will walk down the dairy aisle line by line, keeping things simple, honest, and completely transparent. I'll see you right there.